Hi, I'm Rick Paris. Welcome to Conscious Reality Creator. Today I'm going to talk about beliefs, and I'm going to be talking about beliefs from a new paradigm perspective, right? Because we all think we believe things, and I believe this, and I believe that, and I believe, you have these beliefs, but you probably don't know how you got them. You probably don't know why you're standing in them, how to change them. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Beliefs, everything in physical reality is a function of belief. And I mean everything. And I say that, and I also know that you're likely not going to comprehend the depth of what I mean by that, but I want to say it to you anyway. Belief precedes all physical experience. It precedes everything that you think you know, everything that's possible, everything that's probable, everything that's actual. There's a function of belief, and how much belief do I put? Beliefs add significance to your experience. Physical reality has to take formation because it's an illusion. And the denser the illusion, the more it matters. And the more matter is there, the more substance is there. So a belief creates substance in physical reality. Now, if I have so much substance on a belief, physical reality cannot mutate. It cannot change. It just holds fast because of how much significance I have attached to that. If it's too light, it's fantasy and doesn't manifest. Too much light, too much matter. It's a balance. And so you're looking for beliefs that actually empower you. If you are in patterns, do you see yourself every day repeating pattern? Boom, repeating. That's because there's a belief in place and you have to live the belief. So one of the biggest things that I realized in my own relationships, when I think someone they're just lazy. That's a belief I'm holding about them. And now they have to look lazy to me all the time. And I'm going to get mad about it all the time that this person, they're just fucking lazy. I don't know why they just don't do it. They're lazy. And then the light bulb went off and said, well, that's me. Not everybody's going to think they're lazy, but I definitely think so. And every time they're not doing what I think they ought to do, I get angry because of my belief. And if I love somebody, how can I love them and hold this negative belief about them? I can't, actually. You can't. This is how a lot of relationships end. You decide on who this person is. You decide all this negative stuff, and you decide you can't live with it anymore. And then you get a new boyfriend or a new girlfriend, and then different car, same problem. I got another lemon. I don't know how. And now it's men are a problem. Women are a problem. It's your belief that's the problem. Until you can change your belief, you're not going to be able to adjust physical reality. So you have to start understanding beliefs are a function of choice. They're a function of choice. Like when you get raised about religion and you think Jesus is this and Jesus saves and Jesus is my only way out of a problem, I got to go home and beg Jesus to save my ass. And sometimes all of a sudden Jesus answers somebody and oh my God, the whole church has to hear about it now that Jesus answered so-and-so's prayer. And then you'll go for another 5 years begging because you saw somebody get it. But you have a belief that it works. So sometimes it works, but it's not really what's working. It's your belief that makes it function or not function. Beliefs also aren't only linear. They're three-dimensional. So how much can I get is a function of belief? How high can I go is a function of belief? How deep can I go is a function of belief? If I believe relationships are this amazing, wonderful thing, but when I get down into them, I'm really better off on my own most of the time. I mean, I like relationships, but I'm really better off on my own. So when you're on your own, you do better, and you wonder, yeah, I'm just meant to be single. I'm just meant to be by myself because it does. No, your belief is making it so. Beliefs are a function of you having a feeling and making a concrete decision about it. And that's when the subconscious goes, oh, you've gotten to a certain level of intensity on a subject, and then you've made a statement about the subject, and now the subconscious listens. Let's say you even are sick, you're chronic, you start praying to Jesus to help you out. And let's say, Jonas and all these other guys in the Bible went a long way before they got what they wanted. But I've suffered a tremendous amount. I've been a good person all my life. I really should get this. So you pray, and boom, you're healed overnight. You're like, oh, Jesus did it. No, it's your beliefs, or also that Jesus could do it if I struggle enough, and if I beg enough, and if I do enough good in the world, then I can receive what I'm wanting. And so you'll get it, but it's not because Jesus did it. It's because all your other belief system was fulfilled in that moment, and your subconscious delivered what you wanted. That's why, beliefs are three-dimensional. They're not just, I chose this, and I'm choosing this now. It's not happening. Yeah, that's because you've got other beliefs. You might have a belief that it's not that easy. So I tried to change my belief, and I'm not getting the result because I actually have another belief that it's not that easy. So I have to go through enough struggle for that belief to kick in. You know, when you're trying to make money and you know that they say, oh, in business, don't plan on making any money for 2 or 3 years. You got to work your ass off, and then you'll get your... And so most people start doing it pretty good if they can last 2 or 3 years and they start making money. That's a belief construct. That's not a function of experience. You hear about all kinds of other people that are 22 years old and they're multimillionaire right now because they had an idea in the 7th grade that they implemented. So you see, it's beliefs. And so all the work that I'm teaching, all the stuff that I'm talking about is always going to be stemming into you are self-authored. Now, you may not recognize that at this point. You may not understand that you've authored all this stuff, and because beliefs are a function of opinion that I hold with conviction, most of those have been given to you by someone else because you were a little kid. You were a teenager. You didn't really have any experience to decide, so you looked at people you liked and said, well, I really like that person. They're having a great life, and I'm going to do what they do. I'm going to emulate them. That's why the adolescent has an amalgamation of what it is to be the perfect adult. They don't really know who they are as an adult. So these beliefs get adopted, and usually, you got to, again, I've given this example, and I'll give it again because it works. When you plant a seed in a pot, that thing grows and it grows and it grows and it turns into a beautiful bush. What limits that bush from any growth is the pot that it's actually in. If that pot cannot allow that tree or that bush or that flower any more space, it just goes around on itself, just like you do when you repeat a pattern. I just go around on myself and around on myself, and I try to figure it out. See, because you don't realize when I was a little kid, I made this pot. I decided on this pot when I was 5 years old, or pre-verbal, or I was 12, and I decided that love sucked and I didn't want to be in love anymore. So your beliefs play out, right? And so that belief creates a container. And what happens is that belief is your subconscious saying, okay, that's what he said, that's what they want, until I can actually supersede that in some emotional way and make a new decision. Because let's say my container is this big and I'm trying to get out and I'm always trying, but maybe somewhere down the line I got wounded and the intensity that I have now emotionally as a human being isn't as high as it was when I made that up. Because little kids and adolescents, they may not know what they're doing, but they know how to program themselves because of the way that they're engaged in the world around us. So beliefs get put in early, and then we cut ourselves off from our emotions. So later in life, we're like, I want this to change, and I can't change it because I never get to the emotional intensity that I had the day that I programmed myself. So that takes healing. You have to heal a certain amount to get to the point to switch that belief sometimes. Or you got to have really strong techniques in the subconscious, and I'm going to give that one to you eventually. The subconscious, it's a very powerful thing. The subconscious can do everything good, and it does everything bad in your life. It's not God, it's not the devil, it's not other people, it's not Trump, it's not anyone else. It's just you following a set that you have outgrown, and I just keep going around with it. So until you can understand that belief precedes experience, I can promise you, you can change, but it'll be great feats of effort. No elegance, no ease, no abundance, no sense of prosperity comes when you're like fighting and I'm going around and I just keep basically defragging my life every time I get to a new situation. Because in defragging, I'm trying to create space within a space that's absolute. And the subconscious, no matter how much pain you're in, it's not going to give up. That's why you can beg and go, I'm so much pain, please help me, please help me. And it doesn't listen because that's not the way it works, and you don't know it works that way. Sometimes you may actually feel so much pain, and while you're in that pain, make a new decision. Boom, and you pop out of it, and you're like, wow, I'm done. Well, that was really a function of you feeling and getting to such a state of intensity that your subconscious actually, when you made your new choice, it said, okay, yeah, I see. You want something new now. You don't have to go through pain and struggle for that to happen. You can just change it. You can just repot yourself. One of the things about beliefs is, and this is very common, it's one of the most common ones that I've been hearing lately, and they're not good enough, or feeling ashamed of yourself. Not good enough, not good enough. I never feel good enough. No matter what I do, no matter where I go, no matter how I do, I never feel good enough. I never feel good enough to have what I want. And then somebody calls you something and you feel like you fall apart. This is a function of a belief, right? And like when you come into this experience as a little baby, you're a God being and you forgot, and you have no ability to self-determine yourself. You have to receive everything. So when you were in the womb, you received everything without thought, without need, without desire, without anything. You just existed in a state of bliss. You come through the narrows, you come out into the world, and there's a whole different paradigm out here. So when you get out in this paradigm, you start realizing you're not getting what you want anymore. I have to scream, I have to cry, I have to do something. And even then, I don't get what I want. So you don't even have words. You're not even thinking yet, but what you're starting to perceive is something's missing. Something's missing. It's not like it was before. I know. What's happening? And you start panicking, essentially. And while you're in this state of panic, you're also learning to think, and you're learning to understand who you are. So you come up with this belief before you have words for it that you're not good enough. The reason I'm not being fully cared for and getting everything I want without even having to ask is a function I'm not good enough, which is a fantastic idea, a fantastic belief for a child to hold, because as soon as a child figures out I'm not good enough, they start looking for ways of being good enough. I'm going to be smart in school. I'm going to be good at sports. I'm going to be the nice person in school. That's how I'm going to get good enough. That's how I'm going to get what I want. And you grow and you change because you give yourself a pot that frees you of the pain. You have a place to grow. But when you become an adult and you still think you're not good enough, it's so painful. It's debilitating to constantly feel impotent, to feel imprisoned, limited. All the things that everybody's complaining about right now. That's a function of a belief that's pre-verbal. Not good enough. I'm not good enough. Where once as a child, it was a wonderful awareness to have and to know that I could figure out how to be good enough. Right? So that's how impactful beliefs are. They are everything ultimately. So let's just say beliefs, right? And the beliefs evolve over time because the universe is always expanding. And so naturally, any belief you have, no matter how wonderful it is, like even if you hear me and say, beliefs precede experience, wow, that's amazing. There's going to come a day where that's not true anymore. That's only the deepest truth right now. Just like the world was flat once. And then people say, oh, they were kind of dumb back then. Back then, they were some of the smartest minds in the world still. You know, the Renaissance is still influencing us by those people. And, you know, it wasn't in what I think is Galileo decided, no, it's actually not flat anymore. It might not have been him, but you get the idea. It was flat. I am certainly sure it was flat to everyone, or they wouldn't have called it flat, right? We look back and go, well, that's probably because they saw the horizon and they thought they were going to fall off, and you know what I mean? It's like, no, what's happening is there's a belief and there's a set of agreement. And the agreement is with yourself. I agree on this. The subconscious is, okay, it's a belief. No, reality now reflects that belief. And so science is going to tell you, yeah, that's right. News is going to tell you it's right. Your neighbor's going to tell you it's right. Your mom's going to tell you it's right. Your dad, everybody in experience is going to tell you that's right. That's the truth, what you're saying. It's so significant to you that the entire experience around you is telling you it's so. It's not true. It's just your truth. It's not true. Anything, like I said, creating reality in accordance to your will, conscious reality creation is just right now the deepest truth. Humanity is going to supersede this eventually. I can't tell you what that, well, I kind of know what it is, but for the most part, there's no good going to come out of me telling you what that is right now. because there's a chance that you're going to try to skip this. You're going to try to skip learning to be a conscious reality creator to get to the next thing quicker. And you can't get to the next note without an understanding. Do, re, mi, fa. If you don't know, you can't get there. You can't skip. There's no flow. That's not the way nature works. So you have to learn to be you have to recognize I'm a conscious reality creator. And what does that mean? I have to recognize my beliefs create reality. I have to be able to learn how to change those beliefs. And as soon as I learn and I watch the whole world change around me with some elegance, with some ease, with some grace, I can bring that abundance back into my life. I can bring prosperity back into my life. I can bring a sense of fun and success. All those things that you're feeling stuck. The world is breaking down. It's too late anyway. That's not true. It's just true to you if you believe it. And that's not crazy talk. It's just when you learn to do it and you change it, you'll see. And so hopefully you'll keep watching these things and you'll figure it out and you'll see.